Cinema Steven here, and this is your review of Madam Web, the newest movie by Marvel and Sony Pictures. Okay, this movie has been getting destroyed. It has been getting annihilated by critics, by fans, by the lead actress Dakota Johnson. And I've got to say, I don't know if this is some kind of breaking news or anything, but I honestly didn't think it was that bad. I've definitely seen worse superhero movies. I've definitely seen worse movies, but they're plaguing this movie as not just the worst superhero movie of all time, but one of the worst movies, period. And I've got to say, it wasn't that bad. And I get that there were a couple of script rewrites that went into effect here that was causing a lot of problems with the actors on set, and they didn't really know how to convey their performances into certain ways. But that being said, there were a lot of really cringy and really embarrassing situations, and I think a lot of it was because of the actors' choices and how they were performing the parts, and then again, that could be the director and telling them one thing and then showing another, and then the editing room kind of bastardizing their performances, as per what Dakota Johnson's been saying in her press run, which has been quite talked about as she's just renounced the film in droves, and so some people are looking at that as, a declaration of making sure that your projects are exactly how they want them to be and this and that. But again, I didn't really think it was all that bad. I've definitely seen worse, but that being said, it wasn't really that great either. It's just kind of standard Sony Marvel because there is a difference between the Marvel MCU films with Disney than with the Sony Spider-Verse films. And it's just odd that sometimes the Sony pictures can get things right with the Spider-Man animated films, like the Spider-Verse movies, for example. They're all produced under the Sony banner, but also the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies were working in collaboration with Marvel and Disney. So that's why that cohesiveness was so well done for those types of movies. I'm talking about the movies like Venom, Morbius, which was another infamously bad Marvel film, and Madam Web. Like these are all under this new Sony label, and apparently Madam Web had the lowest grossing box office for any Marvel movie in the last 20 years, over 20 years. And there's been discussions whether Sony's going to have to release a lot of their input or all of their creative rights back to Marvel. And if that's the case, I think it's better for the properties. It's not so good for Sony because they have a stranglehold on some of these Marvel properties. But I think Craven the Hunter coming out later this year is going to be quite an endurance trial for a lot of people because I think if that one flops, which it might, because a lot of these superhero movies lately have been dying a death. Like there's just been no desire or need for massive audiences to go to the movies to see superhero movies anymore. And there was a kind of a run there where they could make any superhero movie and people would just go because that was the thing that was at the zeitgeist. It's the top of the pillar. And nowadays people have superhero fatigue. And so if the movie's not above par or at least great, people might not spend their time with it. And that's pretty much to be said with Madam Web. And again, Dakota Johnson was okay. The character itself, it does have a bit of an origin storyline, and it doesn't really tell a great one, and she does essentially look like she does at the very end of the movie. And another thing that they really promised on this movie were the Spider Women. One of them being Sydney Sweeney, who's very popular right now, and they show her in the Spider Woman costume, but yet you only see her in that costume for like 30 seconds out of the entire movie. But the production was really marketing her as the super Spider Woman, which you don't ever see. So I guess that also was kind of lying to the audiences if you're a fan of hers. And Madam Web, yeah, I definitely would wait for streaming if you even wanted to waste your time on it. But like I said, it's not half as bad as people are saying it is. But it's not also all that good either.